loud and clear. Might hear me on the radio. Breaker, breaker, 19. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms in the mountains, North Carolina. Hope you're enjoying videos from the new studio. I'm enjoying making them. I've been wanting to play with a lot of these radios that I picked up at a recent hamfest, and this one is one of the ones I wanted to play with most. If this works, and I certainly hope it does, I plan on keeping this one because it's just too cool to get rid of. This is the Radio Shack Realistic TRC 55. This was, yeah, it's a 23 channel radio, but this was like the deluxe model. So even though it's really old, it has a lot of cool features and functions, and it just looks cool. So we're going to go through it, and I'll go through all the stuff, and then we'll hook it up and see what we can see. If it'll get on the air, if it can receive, we'll play with it. So starting here at the front, yeah, it's got a lot going on. The first part I want you to think about is that, an analog clock. Now, unfortunately, 99% of these analog clocks, they just don't work anymore, unfortunately, and that sucks. But all right, so here it is, this analog dial clock. The reason that these things are so cool is that they had this. We have off, on, auto, and alarm, right? You can set this thing up to wake you up with CB radio. Yeah. So there was a time, and there could be a time again, when we wanted to do the 333 plan, right? So we could do that, and we could set this up to do that. You would set it up on a timer, and it would wake you up at a certain time, and you preset your channel, and you're ready to go. You could listen to channel 3 every 15 minutes, right? Or just 15 minutes on the hour. Let's say you just want to do it at 8 o'clock, every 8 o'clock, and then you could set it again for 9 o'clock or 10 or whatever. You could do that. And so you have your set, you have your alarm, so you can use it just as an alarm, and here's your controls here. And again, that little dial's missing. Now, honestly, out of all the radios that I've checked out over the years, radios that I've picked up at hamfests, at yard sales, wherever, I think I've only come across one other analog clock that was still functional. And I don't know why that is. They just tend to, I don't know, they get sticky with age, or these little plastic gears inside just don't want to work anymore. But I had a Cobra 138 XLR, which was also a really cool radio, and it had an analog clock that functioned properly, and it was so cool to watch that thing just doing its thing. Over here we have an interesting combination meter. It's a, let's see if I can face that a little better. There we go. It has both a regular meter and an SWR calibration meter. So dual meter, but it only takes up the space of perhaps 1 meter. And then we have, this is really cool. I love this. I hope this radio works because these are the best part about the Era. It has an on the air that lights up in green when you key down. No little teeny LED that says RX or a little light that lights up. Now this has a full-fledged symbol here that says on the air, and then below it, it has a modulation light in red, and it says modulation, and you'll see it. If it works properly, it will flicker. As you get louder, it should become brighter. As you get softer, it should become dimmer. So that's kind of cool. This is the Era before we had LEDs, so this is going to be just a regular dial, and that dial is going to provide you with just a light that lights up the channel that's behind it. Other stuff going on here, front firing speaker. Now it does have a 5-pin mic. And next to it, it has a full-size phono jack for earphones, the old 70s style earphones. Of course, you can buy an adapter for your modern, like Walkman style plug-in, and it'll still work just fine. And then we have some buttons here, our calibration button. We have a PA mode. We have A&L on and off, noise blanker on and off. So those are all buttons that work. This was a very high-end model in its era. It had a lot of features and functions. Okay, over here we have an interesting one. I'm not sure what that's used for, but that is PA gain. PA gain. So I guess you could adjust the amount of output that the speakers for your PA had. That's kind of cool. And then here we have our SWR calibration. And then here we have RF gain. And this is from the era of Delta Tune. So we have a frequency that's slightly off, which is not uncommon. You had a lot of crystal control radios. If something got out of whack, suddenly and from out of nowhere, you wouldn't be directly on frequency. It might cause your signal to sound muffled or garbled or slightly tinny, or there's a variety of things that it can sound like. Well, the Delta Tune would allow us to switch a little bit below or a little bit above frequency, but it only did that on receive. When you transmitted, it was still 100% on frequency, or at least as close as it could be from the factory. And then we have our squelch control here, and lastly, our volume / on off. So there it is. Now this is a nice chrome black faceplate, but it does have the simulated wood grain on the sides, and on the sides is plastic, and it actually has like grab handles, which is kind of an interesting thing. No place for you to hook up a mounting bracket for the top of this, so this would be a base only. Now on the bottom, we do have, this is the era of we're able to remove just a plate here and get access to the actual main board. We can do repairs on it without taking the whole chassis apart, which is really kind of cool. I like that about that. And then on the back, and I'll read the nameplate to you here in a second, but we have this standard lineup, PL259 connector. We do have a external antenna or external speaker, I should say, and a PA. We do have a plug for 12 volts out, and we do have a 120. The 120 plug did come with it. This is damaged. It's like it was riveted. And so if this works, I'm probably going to keep this one because it's just too darn cool. I'll take the board apart and I'll drill out those rivets, what's left of them, and reattach that so it doesn't float around in there, but it is in there. And then the paneling. There is venting on the back only on this model. And this is like wood. It's metal, but it's that fake wood grain. I guess it's metal. I thought maybe for a second it was a type of cardboard, but it's not. But I'll attempt to read to you what it says here in the back. It is AC, 60 hertz, 45 watts. DC requires 17 watts. 17 watts would be a pretty low requirement for energy, so that's kind of nice. It is UL listed, and it says it's the TRC-55 Citizens Band transceiver. Type number is 21-151. It does comply with all the FCC rules of its time. It was custom manufactured in Japan for Radio Shack and the Tandy Corporation. It has a serial number that says 81447, and it has a date of manufacture, but unfortunately that has been disappeared. That has rubbed off. So I don't know if you can go by that serial number and tell me when it was made, but I'd love to know what era it was. I have to think that this was right at the very end of the 23 channel era. So they were probably fixing to get those 40 channels in there and LED displays for the channels. But I did see there are some 40 channel dial style, you know, with the light that lights up the channel that you're on there. So the Radio Shack hung on to that style for a little longer than perhaps they should have. It's time, my friends. I have not plugged this in. I have not tried it out. I'm looking forward to seeing if it works. It did come with a 5-pin Radio Shack mic, so we do have that, and it did come with a power cord. I'm going to hook it to the Antron. We're going to see what we see. Let's do it. Okay, moment of truth here. I've got it plugged in, and I don't know, the time, oh yeah, you got some, doesn't look like the clock is moving. That's unfortunate. But I do hear a hum. I'm not sure if that's a good hum or a bad hum. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Wow. Meter's working. Looks like lights are working. It is working. Holy cow. What a beautiful radio we have here. TRC-55 from Realistic. All right, so squelch. Squelch is working good. Got our fine tuning. RF gain, you can see the needle move down. SWR/calibration, we'll try that in a second. And PA gain. Huh. Okay, so I guess you can adjust volume on the PA if you wanted to. Noise blinker, ANL. Ooh, PA doesn't seem to be working. All right, let's try calibrating the SWR with this. So we'll push in calibration, key down. We'll make our adjustment. Then we'll turn that down and we'll key down again and we'll see where we're at. Hello, hello, hello. All right, that SWR meter does not appear to be accurate. It's a little higher than hello, hello. It's saying 2, which this is actually 1.2. But check it out. Did you see the on-air and modulation? Key down, the on-air comes up. Modulate, hello, hello, hello. And you can see it vibrating and oscillating with it. That is so cool. All right, let's roll through and see if we can find a channel we can talk on. Break channel for a radio check. How about a comeback on channel 15? Trying out a Radio Shack Realistic TRC-55 for the first time in probably 30 years. Let's give it. I know we're getting out. So it works. And even though I'm not able to make any contacts, oh my gosh, look what started working. The clock works. Let's see if it rotates. I got the 25. We're just gonna count that down. I'll probably fast forward to it. But so it works. Everything lights up as it should. Both meters are working. The SWR is a little bit off, but that's not the end of the world. And my gosh, it looks like that clock works. Isn't that a treat? Well, if you're not impressed with that, my friends, you're not impressed by much, I would imagine. I cannot believe that the clock is working on this old girl. For that reason alone, this might be a keeper. I might hang on to this. Oh, look at that. It does. Every bit of it works. Oh, that's so exciting to me. I don't know why, but those analog clocks, generally speaking, they don't work. Now, you can set these things up to turn on at a certain time and wake up to CB if you'd like to. Wow. Very cool. Well, I guess that'll do it for today, my friends. Hope you're enjoying the new videos from the new studio here at Farpoint Farms in the mountains, North Carolina. I'm Eric, and I'll see you next time. Take care.